Hey guys, it's the SHAREfactory coming to you live once again, and I'm back with another video. I was really hoping not to make this because I know it's going to offend some people and it's going to make me sound like an elitist. But I assure you, this is not me being an elitist, it's just how I feel about the situation. Now what exactly am I talking about? New players in MMOs and RPGs, online RPGs. Now, when we see new player, we always get the premise noob, inexperienced, someone's not going to know what the hell they're doing. Now, Final Fantasy does suffer from certain select individuals who choose to ignore mechanics or act stupid. Now, no matter what MMO you play, there's going to be new players. There's going to be new players. Nobody's perfect. We all started off somewhere. We all started off as noobs and scrubs, as people say it. Or scrub means someone who's, who's bad, who thinks they're good. But still, we call them scrubs. But you're going to get players like that. No matter where you start, if you do something new, there's going to be new players to it. So, kicking off in a dungeon is not the best way to go about it. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is, whenever I talk about a new player, I'll talk about someone who's inexperienced, someone who's never done it before, or their first time in a particular instance. It happens. For example, I've never done Thornton Extreme. I've never had the chance to go into that because I'm inexperienced. And most players don't want a bonus or a new player in Thornton Extreme because it is difficult and you need to know the mechanics hands down. But what happens when people go too far with it? I think when the game first came out, well, not when the game first came out, when I first decided to buy the game, now I started in patch 2.4. when the Ninja was released for Final Fantasy 14. That's when I first started on Moogle. That's the server I'm on now. I think I started in 2.0 on Cerberus with my friend's house, so I decided to make my own account and play it on there. And I got to like level 14 and I just can't stop playing. Then I decided to return because a few of my friends were still playing this. I decided to go to their server and transfer. Anyway, so it's not about me, it's about new players. I'm a person who will not shun a new player for making a mistake. If you make a mistake, it happens. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? You don't expect a run of a dungeon to go smooth the first time you did it. It never happens. Or raid. For example, Midas for Gears of Change, patch 3.2 for Heaven's Ward. Nobody's perfect. People are still dying in A7, A6, even in A5, because people are inexperienced. And also, your gear is not synced out to fight that target. You need to have better gear to meet better DPS checks. There's a cap on the amount of gear you can get per week. So like the high-end gear, which is the Elegant Tonestones of Lore, L-O-R-E, not the old ones when the game first came out. It's a new currency. It's capped weekly, so there is a limitation on what gear you can get. The same with Alexander. You are capped weekly on what equipment you can get from those duties. However, yes, you can get esoteric gear, but most players have already got that. Or gear from Void Ark. Or Savage gear from Alexander Savage, which is a 1 to 4. Now, people aren't going to meet DPS checks the first time they do it. DPS is a big thing. When I mean DPS, what exactly do I mean by DPS? DPS is damage per second, how much damage you do in a select amount of time. There are some bosses in Final Fantasy that need to be dealt a certain amount of damage before a certain point. If you take too long, it will pretty much wipe the entire party for a mechanic. For example, in 8.8's Burden of the Sun, there's an auto-clean. Auto-clean is when DPS starts the fight's taking too long, and the boss decides to kill everyone off. It happens. But you do get a select few individuals who do not obey mechanics, or don't do mechanics properly and just deliberately screw things up, or don't listen, or don't pay attention, or are distracted by other things, like for example typing in the chat. Now, by typing in the chat I mean by QQing. Now, QQing is a derogatory term for bitching or getting pissed off and raging in the chat. I personally have never done this. I tell people to shut the fuck up and focus on the task at hand, because it gets you nowhere. I've even said to players, if you spent as much time typing on the frickin' chat as you did doing your frickin' job, we probably would have finished this by now. But you do get players like that. Now, are they all like that? No, of course not. They're not. That's my personal tropes with new players. They don't make the game bad, they're just inexperienced, and people are very impatient. Now, I'm not impatient at whenever someone dies, they say, "Oh, that's my fault. Sorry about that." I say, no biggie. It happens. Nobody's perfect. So what I urge certain players to do in MMOs, who, if you are experienced or in end game, try and be patient with new players. Give them a chance. Let them try it. The best, what I say when it comes to experience, the best way to learn experience is to do it. If you want to do the extremes, go into Duty Finder and do it with a pug. Get practicing, train, learn the mechanics by doing the fights. Okay, yeah, you won't kill it straight away, but it's worth the experience for later for a group that does want to kill it. Or you might get lucky in Duty Finder, like I did with Bismarck and Ravana, and kill it in a Duty Finder with a random players. A pug, a pickup group. That's what I think about new players. Now, we all started somewhere. We're not elitist. I don't want to be elitist. Now, I urge players not to be elitist towards new players. They're not bad players. They're just inexperienced. Give them a chance to understand the mechanics of a game or a raid or a dungeon. Let them understand their mechanics. Let them play their job or class correctly. What not to do at certain points. Does this ability work? Is that ability worth using? Give them a chance. Give them advice. If you're an experienced player and you want to give advice, by all means go ahead. I main Ninja and Dark Knight, so I have extensive knowledge of these two classes. If someone's new to playing Ninja and they're using an ability that I think is not working properly, I will say to them, dude, instead of using this ability, use this one. It gives this. For example, people make a mistake of using Trick Attack and Sneak Attack. I say in a Duty Roulette, when you've got players and tanks and you're back and the boss is back, turn to you, use Trick Attack because it gives vulnerability up. That's a prime example. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think. Do you think have you had any bad experiences with new players? Have you been subject to elitism, or have you personally ranted at someone for something silly and made you thought to yourself, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have ranted at him. It was mean." Tell me what you think in the comments below. As usual, it's not about the platform; it's about the games. Stay frosty, and thanks for watching. I'm out this bitch.